For decades, oil has been traded in US dollars, a system known as the petrodollar, anchoring American economic power. This arrangement has not only shaped the global energy market, but also cemented the dollar's status as the world's primary reserve currency. The petrodollar system has allowed the United States to exert significant influence over international finance, giving it a unique advantage in global affairs. However, this foundation is shifting as major oil producers like Saudi Arabia and Qatar explore alternatives. These nations are reassessing their long-standing reliance on the dollar, motivated by changing geopolitical dynamics and a desire for greater economic independence. They are increasingly turning to China and its currency, the yuan, signaling a move towards a multipolar world. China's growing economic clout and its status as the world's largest oil importer make it an attractive partner for these oil-rich states. By accepting yuan, they are not only diversifying their financial relationships, but also reducing their exposure to U.S. monetary policy. This shift challenges the post-war economic order, potentially altering the balance of power in international trade. The implications reach far beyond oil, affecting global investment flows, currency reserves, and the way nations interact on the world stage. The decision by Saudi Arabia to accept yuan for oil is a landmark event. It marks a significant departure from decades of tradition, and signals a willingness to embrace new economic realities. It opens the door to a future where multiple currencies compete in global trade. This could lead to increased volatility but also new opportunities for countries to assert their own financial sovereignty. This transformation is driven by the rise of new economic blocs and shifting alliances. Organizations like BRICS are pushing for a more balanced global system, where emerging economies have a greater voice and influence. As of October 2025, the dominance of the dollar faces its most significant challenge yet. The world is watching closely as these changes unfold, with investors and policymakers alike preparing for a new era in global finance. The world is changing, with oil and money at the heart of this transformation. The choices made today will shape the economic landscape for generations to come, influencing everything from energy prices to the stability of nations. The story is one of strategy, ambition, and a quiet revolution in global finance. As the sands of global energy continue to shift, the world stands on the brink of a new financial order, one defined by competition, adaptation, and the relentless pursuit of influence. To grasp the energy market's transformation, we must understand BRICS. Originally Brazil, Russia, India, and China, it expanded in 2010 with South Africa. Once seen as a mere discussion group, BRICS has become a formidable coalition. In January 2024, it expanded to include Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. This strategic enlargement brought significant energy producers into the fold. The inclusion of Saudi Arabia and the UAE transformed BRICS into an energy powerhouse. The expanded BRICS aims to reduce vulnerability to Western financial systems. The use of US sanctions has accelerated the desire for alternatives. With over 3.3 billion people, BRICS represents a significant portion of the global population. The decision by Gulf states to join signals a shift in the world's economic center of gravity. The petrodollar has long dominated the global oil trade, serving as the primary currency for oil transactions worldwide. This system has linked the value of oil directly to the US dollar, creating a strong interdependence between oil markets and the American economy. This linkage has provided the US with significant economic leverage and influence over global oil prices. Now, the petro-yuan is emerging as a new player, with China encouraging oil trade in its currency. This shift is part of China's broader strategy to internationalize the yuan and reduce its reliance on the US dollar. Saudi Arabia's shift to yuan for oil trade marks a significant departure from dollar dominance. This move is not just symbolic, but also strategic, as it aligns with China's growing economic influence and Saudi Arabia's desire to diversify its economic partnerships. By early 2025, yuan-denominated oil deals accounted for a substantial portion of Brent crude trading. This trend indicates a growing acceptance of the yuan in global oil markets. The Shanghai International Energy Exchange has seen a surge in yuan-denominated trading, further solidifying the yuan's role in the global oil market. This shift reduces China's exposure to US financial policy and diversifies Saudi Arabia's customer base. It also represents a significant step towards a more multipolar financial world. Imagine a global market where multiple currencies are accepted, not just the dollar. This scenario could lead to a more balanced and diversified global economy. Saudi Arabia is even considering discounts for non-dollar oil deals, which could further incentivize the use of other currencies in oil trade. This move to a multi-currency system for oil is a fundamental change in the global economy. It challenges the long-standing dominance of the US dollar and introduces new dynamics into international trade. The petro-yuan challenges the dollar's supremacy in the oil market, signaling a shift in economic power. It reflects a broader trend towards a multipolar financial world, where no single currency holds absolute dominance. The implications for global trade and economic power are profound, potentially reshaping the landscape of international finance. The era of the dollar's unchallenged dominance is ending, ushering in a new chapter in the global economic order. The push to move away from the US dollar, or de-dollarization, stems from multiple motivations. This movement is gaining momentum as countries seek to protect their economies from external pressures and enhance their financial independence. The weaponization of the dollar through sanctions has made many countries uneasy. These sanctions can cripple economies, leading to widespread discontent and a desire to find alternatives. Over-reliance on the dollar is seen as a strategic vulnerability. Economists warn that this dependence can expose countries to significant risks, including economic instability and loss of control over their financial systems. Countries desire greater monetary sovereignty, free from US policy impacts. By reducing their reliance on the dollar, they aim to gain more control over their monetary policies and protect their economies from external shocks. The global economic balance has shifted, with China as a major trading nation. China's rise as an economic powerhouse has prompted many countries to reconsider their financial strategies. It makes sense for China to pay for imports in its own currency. This not only simplifies transactions but also strengthens the yuan's position in the global market. Accepting the yuan strengthens economic ties with China. Countries that trade heavily with China find it beneficial to use the yuan, fostering closer economic relationships. This is a pragmatic adjustment to new economic realities. As the global economy evolves, adapting to these changes is crucial for maintaining economic stability and growth. The push for de-dollarization is central to BRICS' agenda. These emerging economies are working together to create a more balanced and fair global financial system. Challenging the dollar's supremacy diminishes American influence. As more countries adopt alternative currencies, the US's financial dominance is gradually reduced. An alternative financial system distributes power more evenly. This shift aims to create a more equitable global economy where no single country holds disproportionate power. This vision appeals to countries feeling marginalized by the Western order. These nations see an opportunity to assert their independence and influence in the global arena. The move away from the dollar is both an economic necessity and a political statement. It reflects a broader desire for financial autonomy and a rejection of the status quo. It reflects a desire for a more balanced global financial system. Countries are advocating for fairer trade practices and more inclusive economic policies. The transition to a multipolar currency world is underway. This shift represents a significant change in the global financial landscape, with multiple currencies sharing the stage. BRICS expansion in 2024 was a strategic move to consolidate resources. The bloc now controls a significant portion of global oil production. With Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Iran, BRICS is an energy powerhouse. The bloc also dominates natural gas reserves, with Russia and Iran leading. BRICS' influence extends to rare earth elements, crucial for modern technology. The bloc's geographic position gives it control over key trade routes. The Suez Canal and Bab el-Mandeb Strait are strategic choke points. BRICS' resource dominance supports its push for de-dollarization. The world must listen when resource-rich countries choose new trade currencies. BRICS is actively building infrastructure to move away from the dollar. Trade in local currencies is a key strategy, bypassing the dollar. China's CIPS offers an alternative to the SWIFT financial system. The system is growing, attracting global participation. BRICS countries are accumulating gold to bolster their currencies. Gold provides a stable store of value, independent of US policy. The new development bank offers loans in local currencies. These initiatives aim to construct a new financial world order. The dollar is no longer the sole king in global finance. A multipolar currency system is emerging. The path to a post-dollar world faces significant challenges. The dollar's dominance is deeply embedded in the global system. It still accounts for a large portion of global reserves and transactions. BRICS is not a perfectly unified bloc, with internal rivalries. The yuan, a potential dollar challenger, has its limitations. China's capital controls make the yuan less attractive as a reserve currency. Major financial reforms are needed for the yuan to rival the dollar. The private sector is slow to adapt to de-dollarization. The transition will be gradual, not a sudden collapse of the dollar. A multipolar currency world is a long-term goal. The future holds a multipolar currency system, not a single dominant currency. The dollar will remain important but share the stage with others. The US must adapt to a decline in global dollar demand. This transition will impact American economic and foreign policy. A multi-currency system offers stability and flexibility. It empowers regional trade blocs and emerging economies. However, it may lead to a more fragmented financial world. The rise of the petro-yuan and BRICS signals a shift in global power. The economic landscape is moving from unipolar to multipolar. The foundations of a new world order are being laid.